Now, as a chosen one, life hasn't been very easy for you. So, you have most likely been the black sheep of your family. And eventually, you have also noticed that your life hasn't been easy. So, whatever it is you went through, whatever it is you saw along your journey, it wasn't a walk in the park. So, practically speaking, things were tough. Eventually, you've noticed also that it wasn't also as well easy for you to experience more meaningful relationships along your journey. So you've seen a lot of difficult situations as well, but at the end of the day, you also noticed, at a later point in time, you noticed that you're here for a reason. And that reason has also driven you to discover and step into your purpose as a person who wants to heal the world and to help other individuals in different kinds of situations. But at the end of the day, you still recognize that you have usually been sleeping with the wolves and you've been involved with the wolves. And in this video, I want to let you guys know that sometimes God has got a way of hiding his chosen ones amongst the wolves, and nothing will ever harm them. Nothing will ever come upon them until it is God's time to say it is time for you to get out of the wolves and go and carry on and discover your mission and live with purpose. Good morning, beautiful people. Good evening and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is Denzamos, and you're welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empaths free. If you are new on this channel, I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. I talk about spirituality, and I talk about personal and self-growth. And if any of that resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us. Give us a like, share the video with friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your love and support. I'm going to do this video while grounding at the same time. Now listen, chosen ones. God has got a way of hiding you amongst the wolves. Now let me repeat this one more time. God has got a way of hiding his chosen ones amongst the wolves. Now you see, in my personal experience, I remember when I woke up eventually. So the first thing that came to my mind, the first question that came to my mind was, how on earth was I able to survive all these difficult situations and all these difficult experiences? Guys, let me tell you something along my journey. I've seen it all. If you go back in my videos and you start watching these videos from the beginning, you will know that I've seen it all. And you will know that I'm talking something that I know, I'm talking out of experience. So that's the reason why I call this channel the channel of truth. So you see, as a chosen one, before you fully discover your purpose, God will put you through so many different kinds of situations. You will experience everything, everything and all types of life you've ever thought about in your entire life. You will experience a lot of things. You will experience hatred. You will experience rejection. You will experience punishment. You will experience manipulation, abuse, and whatever it is, whatever kind of evil you can even think about, you will usually experience everything, and you will know that your journey that you walk as a chosen one is not a journey that is walked by anybody else. So you will look around you and you will notice, as a chosen one, your journey has been different. But as much as it has been different, it has also been extremely painful and also complicated. So I left the narcissist those days. If you start talking about purpose now, I left the narcissist, I remember. I awakened. Eventually I saw the narcissist for who they were, and I said, okay, I'm going to leave this situation. I didn't want to deal with that. That was it. I didn't want to deal with that. So I say, okay, thank you, God. Thank you for waking me up. Thank you for showing me everything. I appreciate. So I was very, very happy. I was very excited. I was very, very happy to to finally wake up from abuse and finally discover what narcissism was. But you see, that was not the end of the story. As soon as I just left the narcissist, I was like, okay, so that is it. God has shown me everything, so now I'm out, I'm free, and I'm going to be happy and everything. No. That wasn't the case. In a few months later, guys, I can guarantee you something. I met a greater narcissist. But in the beginning, I was like, oh, okay, so this person has come in, yes, things are going to be well and everything. So I was very, very excited about this. I was like, okay, so finally the toxicity is gone. And now I can start living a happy life. So I thought that things are going to happen very quickly like that. You know what I mean? What I mean is just you just left a toxic individual, and then all of a sudden you're going to jump into a new relationship, and it's going to be all of a sudden your new soulmate, a new twin flame, you know, your divine counterpart and everything. I was so excited. Then it's like, well, I met this individual. Well, of course, things went well in the beginning. Like you guys already know, things went well. Everything was okay. And then a few months down the road, I was like, wow. How come I'm starting to see some of these patterns that I've always experienced with narcissists? Because I can guarantee you guys as well, as a chosen one or as an empath, you have usually experienced so many different kinds of narcissists in many shapes and form. Workplace, sisters, brothers, fathers, partners, whatever. You have seen them all. Then I was like, I'm seeing these situations that look familiar in my eyes. That I'm thinking like, there is a possibility this person is a narc. You know what I mean? Maybe I just thought that they were toxic in one way or the other. But eventually I thought that, I knew that this person actually must be a narc, because I'm starting to see. Because remember, when you're awakened, it's like the veil is lifted. So now you're starting to see these patterns play in front of you. It's like a movie. It's like you're sitting down behind, comfortable in your sofa. And you're watching this movie. It's like you can almost predict what is going to happen from here, what is going to happen from here. From here is going to go to this. You can see everything clearly. Guys, let me tell you something. An awakened empath is a very dangerous individual. So I'm sitting back and I'm looking around, I'm thinking that, wow, there is a very big possibility that this individual is a narcissist. Why am I starting to see these patterns that I can see? I can recognize these patterns. Guys, let me tell you something. It was unbelievable. I could recognize each and every single thing they were doing. So I was like, okay, so this is the next narc. But even I noticed not only the narcissist, I noticed that narcissist was worse than even the one I was involved with for the last 7 years. And eventually I would later on come to realize that particular narcissist was actually a greater narcissist. Not only a greater narcissist, but also a spiritual narcissist. You guys have seen my videos before. So I'm there sitting, thinking, okay, God, I left the other narcissist. And then now this one comes in. And who knows who is going to come in next after this one. Then I was like, okay, now I need to find a way. I need to find a way of terminating this entanglement. I did not like it, so I did not accept that entanglement to go any further, because I already knew what was narcissism. I'd already seen it, so I didn't have anything to do with that. So I found my ways, like you guys already know. I got out of the situationship. Then eventually I was like, okay, now it's time to fight back. It was time to fight back. I said, okay, so it is enough with these demons. I've got enough with these demons. They've been messing up with me so many years of my life. I have enough, and it was enough. Indeed, it was enough. So I said, I'm going to fight back. So I started asking God for ways. How can I fight back? How can I, and when I'm talking about fighting back, I'm not talking about you're going to go around and start fighting them physically. No. You start fighting back. You protect yourself and start fighting back against abuse and standing against this kind of abuse, because I knew it was something, it had to stop. I knew in my heart, entire life, this abuse had to stop, and I had to participate. If it was going to stop in one way or the other, I had to participate in this kind of process. So I asked God to give me the way. So God revealed to me something that, okay, so you know what you're going to do? You've seen that greater narcissist. The greater narcissist used to do some videos here and there, you know what I mean? He used to do some videos, the greater narcissist. So a voice came in my mind and told me, you know what? That greater narcissist used to do videos. Actually, you can use your voice. You can now start to use your mouth and do exactly what she's been doing. But this time you're just helping people. You're not like you're just trying to going out there, you know, publicizing yourself and whatever it is, getting validation. Just go out and there and start helping people. And guys, that is exactly when I came face to face with my purpose. The reason why I've told you guys that chosen ones, God will usually put you with the wolves. I've told you that chosen ones, most of the times you will see You will almost think that things are not going your way. You will discover things, God putting you in certain situations, and you're out there thinking that, why is it that, how come that God, anytime I ask God to do for me something nice, something important, something major, He's putting me in very different, difficult situations. You will always sometimes want to fight with God because God has put you in a situation that you cannot understand. But let me tell you something, chosen ones. God is going to make you sit with the wolves for one particular reason, because there is a lesson and there is something to learn from those individuals. So sometimes you're going to see situations whereby God is even sometimes going to elevate you using your enemies. Let me repeat this, guys. God sometimes is going to elevate you to the next level using your enemies. So the same people that came in with an intention of destroying you, they're the same people that God is going to use to move you to the next level. And that is exactly what happened in my situation. And as a chosen one, you'll also realize you have made similar situations like that, and God is moving you from place to place for a very particular reason. Not because He's punishing you. I've told you guys in the beginning of this video, the life of a chosen one is very, very difficult and intense. So God is moving you from place to place, from situation to situation, and it looks like you're in this kind of a roller coaster. This is like a very huge wheel. You're moving from point to point, from point A to point B to C to D. You're coming back from where you started, and you're noticing you're in some kind of a cycle, a very difficult, toxic cycle, which almost you feel you cannot get out of. I can guarantee you something. Before, a chosen one, before you start complaining about why is God putting you in those kind of situations, the thing to understand in those situations, you need to ask God one thing: what are you trying to show me in this situation? For me to be able to understand abuse, narcissistic abuse, I had to go in the lion's den. So I had to be in there so that I could see it. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you something. If I did not experience narcissism, I would not be here talking to you today. So there was a very big reason and a very big meaning behind that experience of narcissistic abuse. I had to go in there, I had to experience it, I had to know what it is. And we're not only talking about in a psychological way. Yes, there is also a psychological version of it. But I had to understand it and also get to that conclusion that this whole thing is spiritual. So whatever it is, people could have been trying, the way they were trying to understand narcissism. Of course, everybody has got their own version of narcissism. But I had to understand narcissism and understand this whole thing is spiritual, so I had to do something about it. And that is exactly how I found my purpose. I've told you guys, if I did not meet all these different types of narcissists, I wouldn't be here talking to you today, because I would not have a story to talk about. Your experience, listen to this one, is very, very important. Don't mind about, there's a truck behind me doing the grass. Your experience, the experience you go through as a chosen one, it crafts your story. It crafts your story. Listen very closely, it's very important. Your experience you go through as a chosen one, it is actually crafting your story, because at the end of the day, you have got a story to tell. That story may come out in a book, it may come out as you're speaking, there's something like I'm doing, it may come out in so many different kinds of form, but you're going to have a story that is going to inspire other individuals to get them out of different situations. So your story, your experience, crafts your story. It is your story that is your superpower. Let me repeat this. Chosen ones, your experience crafts your story. And your story is your superpower. Now you're going to use that story to create a life that you've never created before in your entire life. That's the reason why you see God. For the most of you guys who are black sheep, in your entire families, you guys, you can testify, life has not been easy. Let's all agree. Life has not been easy as a black sheep. I've been a black sheep in my own family. And life has not been a walk in the park, but I had to go there and I had to experience it. I had to learn all the details. You see, God does not put you in situations by coincidence. There is no such a thing as coincidence in this universe. God puts you in very, very many different kinds of situations because He wants you to learn something very, very important. When you learn the lessons, and you know exactly what is going on in those situations, you learn them, you register them in your mind, in your head, you learn all the details, then that's when you're ready to wake up, because now you have a story to tell. So when you're talking about purpose, purpose is different from a job. A job is something a job is something anybody can do. A job is something you can wake up and go and work somewhere from 9, then you finish at 5, you come back home and you do the normal thing like anybody else, of course. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that as long as you love your job. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a job as long as you love what you're doing. That's okay. But if you do not love what you're doing, then there's something bigger for you. If you're not happy where you are, in whatever job it is you're doing, in 9 to 5 or whatever, then that means there is something bigger meant for you to do in your life. That means you're supposed to move to different heights and to higher levels. So most of the times you will see the purpose comes, most of the times, the purpose can come to you. The moment the purpose comes to you, you realize that actually is the purpose, which it is almost the last thing to appear into your life. It is the last thing, as long as you've already faced whatever it is you have to face in your entire life. It is the last purpose that always comes to you at the end of the journey. And the secret is, let me tell you something, another one is very important for the most of you guys, because I've been seeing these comments or these questions on my channel. How do I find my purpose? What do I do? Where do I move? This and this. Let me tell you something. If your purpose hasn't come to you, and you don't really know what you've been doing, then you haven't yet, number one, fully awakened, and number two, learned the lessons. If your purpose hasn't yet been revealed to you in a major way whereby it can even sometimes move you out of your comfort zone, that means, number one, you haven't yet fully awakened. Number two, you haven't yet learned the lessons. So, meaning that there is lessons that are yet to be learned. So there is some other things, very, very serious, important things that are yet to be learned for you to be able to fully step into your purpose. Because the purpose is something that you do at the end of your journey. It's like you don't care anymore. You just wake up and you say, okay, so whatever happens, happens. You guys have heard about chosen ones who have been homeless at some point in time. You can see them on YouTube. There are many. They have been homeless because they were like, okay, so whatever happens, happens. They can go homeless, they can start living in shelters, they can whatever. So they went out of their comfort zone and they decided to follow their heart. So sometimes those decisions, they rendered them homeless. They ended up on the streets. Some of them slept in their cars, but that is exactly where they found their purpose. As they were sleeping in their cars, contemplating on their next meal and what they are going to do next, that is exactly in their vehicles that they found their purpose. That is exactly when God told them, okay, so listen, my son. It was me behind the wheel. I was the one guiding you towards this direction, and that is exactly where I wanted you to be. So sometimes God had to send people to the streets, to go on the streets and experience exactly what is street life. Then at the end of the day, they will wake up from it, get out of it, and start fighting back, and regain back their power and start living with purpose. Some of them have started their purpose homeless in their cars. We can do your research. There are many on YouTube. So when we're talking about purpose is something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Guys, let me tell you something. When I was living my ex-wife, it was very difficult. You're looking back, and there's kids involved. You know, the life that you've been building for so many years. You've invested heavily, financially, emotionally, physically, mentally. You've invested everything in a marriage or whatever it is, a relationship. It can even sometimes be a friendship. It has not worked out, and then now you're thinking, how are you going to start creating another life out of that? You don't know how to do it. It was very, very difficult, ladies and gentlemen. When I'm talking about living a narcissist, I never said it's easy. It was very difficult. But I said, I'm going to choose between two options. I'm going to stay here. I would decide to stay there and continue suffering the way I used to do, or I would get out and face the reality of my next moves and with the life that I wanted to live. So I chose the second one. I got out. I say that I'm going to get out no matter what. I'm going to go out. I don't care what is going to happen. I don't care what is going to... So that is the moment whereby you decide. All of a sudden, in that moment, you know, when purpose is coming to you, it is something which ignites that kind of fire. There's a fire that burns within you. You are like, okay, I'm going to go out and fight. I'm going to fight no matter what. I will fight. You get out of your comfort zone. The purpose, let me tell you something, chosen ones. When the purpose is coming to you, you have got to get out of your comfort zone. It's not even about you wanting. You will get out by force. Because you see, the problem with comfort zone, the reason why they call it comfort zone is because it makes you very comfortable, and you don't want to get out of that of those spots because you are so comfortable. You know, you have got this job. Oh yes, you know, you're working, and then it pays the bills and the things like that. Then you're like, okay, so when I leave that job, what am I going to do next? A lot of times when you're in those comfort zones, let me tell you something, that is the poison. The comfort zone, they poison you more and more deeper, and that's why they put you to sleep, because now you cannot get out of those comfort zone and start thinking outside of the box. So purpose is something that ignites your passion and ignites the fire within you to get out of your comfort zone by force. So if you're talking about purpose, purpose is something that comes to you at the end. And normally it comes to you at the end of the road when God knows that, okay, my son, you have seen everything, you've learned everything. I'm sure that you're ready now to go out and face the world and tell them exactly what you've seen. You guys know the stories in the Bible. You guys used to, the Bible scholars, you used to read the stories in the Bible. People had to go through different experiences. God showed them different experiences, and now they were able to go out and tell the world what they have seen, what they have gone through, and what they have seen. Now they will be able to open other people's eyes. That is what that's what happens when you're coming face to face with purpose. You go out there and start explaining and talking about those things that you have seen. And most of the times when you're living in purpose, it is also creating you an income. So purpose is that last thing that you think about that you're going to do, and you're doing it as if it's your last day. It is your last day on earth. You know what I mean? It is coming to that knowledge of okay, so this looks like it's your last day on earth, and you are going to fight. You are going to, that thing that you're going to do. It's like that thing pops up in your mind, and you're like, okay, it looks like I've come to the end, but there is one more thing I want to do before I vacate. Because at that moment it's like you're breaking down. Your ego is breaking down, and you're like, whatever comes, whatever happens. I'm just gonna go anyway. I'm just gonna do it anyway. What is that thing you want to do? If it was your last day on earth, what is that thing that you want to do? For me, it was helping people. I was like, I don't care who is listening. I don't worry about parents. I don't worry about family. I'm going to go out and I'm going to help people, and I'm going to stand in authenticity, and nobody's going to stop me. So I made a conscious decision, and guys, I can guarantee you, we're talking about almost 3 years ago. I've never looked back. So you will sit with the dens. You don't worry. Don't ask yourself too much and worry about the things. Why is God putting you in all this kind of situation? Why is toxic people everywhere? No. The question you should ask yourself: what have you got to learn from that? What is God teaching you? Because there's a lesson you're learning. You're learning a lesson. There is a story to tell. So you are learning a lesson. Without the lesson, you don't have a story. So there is a reason why you are in the lion's den, because in that den is where you're going to learn the story that is going to move you to your purpose. And that is the secret of purpose. So guys, let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below. I've been grounding, as you can see. So when you're talking about purpose, you can go on and on. And I still think that at some point I'm going to make another video about purpose. So for the most of you guys, I hope you pick a story from this video. You pick a line from this video that is going to help you along your journey. There's a reason for your experiences. You're swimming in the lion's den. You're facing a lot of rejection. Enemies are everywhere. Because there is a story as a chosen one. Your life has got to be different. It's meant to be different, because whatever it is you're going through is going to lead to you towards becoming the highest version of yourself. But again, chosen ones, you're warriors, and you can do this. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below, guys. Book a session with me, donate and support to this channel if you want to. All the links you need in the description below. Until then, much love and blessings. There's the most signing out. Peace.